When I'm listening to Dr. Loni and so many times, okay, we're talking about target 2040, target 2047. I think a lot of people who are giving these targets won't be alive by the time we reach to that years. This is something I realized last year when I was speaking at Davos. And I was speaking in the private sector session of Alpine Economies, where we all know now with 2 days session that Nepal has no choice but has to be the custodian of the third pole initiative that we are all talking about over here. I think Nepal's paying a price of a lot of the larger economies emission that is taking place. We have a lot of opportunities, low-hanging fruits already existing with us. Private sector has started to, but needs to do a lot more work. For example, I think private sector ko intervention or private sector ko execution towards the net neutral, carbon neutral economy are simple examples of simple policies that are made by the government. Dr. Loni le pani भन्नुभयो कि Nepal's got the highest penetration and the fastest growth rate of electric vehicles. Now, our government has made a commitment that by 2030, 30% of our vehicles would be EV. This policy was made almost a year and a half, 2 years ago, and the private sector has already adopted it through bringing in large amount of electric vehicles, which is resulting to lower import of fossil fuel, which is resulting to higher consumption of our own renewable energy, which is leading to directly to a better environment that is happening. As a private sector user, I think the current program and subsidies that the government has got along with multilateral partners for solar implementation is also very, very attractive. I myself in my company are using a hybrid of renewable energy, hydropower based, and replacing all the fossil fuel, biofuel, husk based power into solar. My return on investment on solar panels in my factory is in excess of 30-35%. What better do private sector need to be able to mobilize and grow the solar panel movement in Nepal? Hamro carbon credits, we are talking more and more about it, but other countries are already capitalizing on the carbon credits that Nepal needs to earn. The manufacturer, for example, of electric vehicles in China are already monetizing the carbon credits that will be saved during the usage of the electric vehicles in Nepal. Why aren't we able to do it? Again, policy, strong policy hasn't come. We've got already commitments on various level of industrial, greenhouse, smart cities, smart buildings in our COP32. And the National Planning Commission has a really well-crafted plan, year-on-year plan for mitigating and achieving this. We just need to follow that properly. We just need to have the right policies accordingly. Aba EV ko growth bo, the impact on environment is good, but because of the deficit in the budget, now EVs will be more taxed. So again, that industry will go down. So this is a very catch-22 situation the private sector always gets on. Green bond has already been issued 4 years ago in the New York Stock Exchange from Nepal. We are already in Nepal private sectors importing not by choice, but the whole world is already shifting towards energy efficient consumer products. ACs, refrigerators, all of that. One big opportunity, except for a consistent policy that will help private sector execute this, is very simply, the tariff war that we are all seeing between America, China, India. I think just seeing the different sectors there and how we are able to bring that into our country's contribution to our economy themselves will open up the doors to many different things, especially relating to projects and sectors leading to a carbon neutral scenario. This is a big opportunity for us that we are not looking at. When I attended a class in Harvard Business School, the professor came in and said, what's the definition of R&D? And everyone was obviously saying research and development. He says, no, in today's world, the definition of R&D is rip and duplicate. If a country, if an economy, if someone has already tried, tested the technology, the business model, the right environment properly in that particular geography or sector, we should just bring that in and adopt it in our country. We don't need to really rack our brain or spend money on research and development. So again, those technologies and ideas already exist. We just have to take it with the right policy, which means the right environment. We just need to execute it. So today, the tools exist for private sector, especially to monetize all of this. One thing private sector needs to do is just be able to execute ESG, and that jati policy banaya pani, it's not going to happen. Private sector needs to feel responsible for doing their part for the environment, and one by one needs to be able to adhere to having the entire governance based on ESG. That is why our foundation has taken a lead, and we've tied up with almost 25-30 private sector from around the region. Almost 25-30 multilateral agencies around this region who've already got knowledge, expertise. We've tied up with government institutions. They're doing the Sagarmatha Sambad and doing some exceptionally good work over there. What will be executed is something else, but we are seeing a lot of good work and knowledge is being generated out of there. So keeping all of these sectors, we are trying to start this movement called Third Pole Initiative with all the different stakeholders as part of it. Again, we talk about the GCF, Global Climate Fund, where majority of the capital is being deployed to island countries. But unless we make our voices heard at the global level, those kind of dollar are not going to come in for food security, for all the things that Dr. Loni is talking about. So we are, as a private sector, trying to play that initiative to start this this summit very, very soon. But individually, I think private sector is ready to do their part. There's a lot more needs to be done. Look at Bhutan as an example. They have created an entire new city called the Geluful Mindfulness City based on the net zero slogan. In Bhutan in 2006-07, they allowed crypto mining, not crypto trading, crypto mining using hydropower. And the whole world wants to shift from fossil fuel to renewable energy crypto mining. At that time, the Bhutan government had invested close to $250-300 million. Today, that value is almost $7 billion. So that is timely taking those decisions and adopting and implementing opportunities which are low-hanging fruits. So timely being agile and adaptive and we cannot afford adaptability. We need leapfrog approaches if we have to catch up to the 2040, 2047 targets that we have. But there's a lot that is being done. I think everything centers around policies. One right policy can just open up doors and change the environment quite a lot. And I think private sector needs to learn from the best practices, needs to be committed themselves that they want to do this, because the tools, expertise, know-how, wisdom, everything exists. We just need to be able to capitalize on all of that. Thank you.